Well, a very good afternoon, and thanks so much for joining us this afternoon, although it might be morning for you. So I hope all is well. We're expecting a few more people, so um, uh, I will just hold off joining. Sorry, we're just letting some more people in. So I hope you're all well, and maybe looking forward to working with a few more clients as well. So it would be great to hear how you're all getting on with clients and so on. But I have to say, I was so excited last week when I woke up to the news that they had finally allowed all of your lovely clients to start visiting us again. Now, I thought this was an important session to run because from what I have been told, there's been quite a lot of misinformation and guesswork and all sorts going on about what the truth is about the situation over here. So I'm going to put that right and share the facts with you. And share the information that you can then pass on, obviously, to your clients. So we will kick off with not working. Okay, so the first focus of the first half is really to share all of the facts about the situation in the UK, partially about England actually, but because there are obviously some differences between us and Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland, but to give you an overall picture, and then share the information about all of the fabulous things that are available and are happening in England. So a few facts to start off with. I think it's a fantastic achievement by the government that we are now up to 85 million COVID vaccines across the UK. So we're now at the point where, excuse me, over 72% of adults have had both doses, and that's absolutely key because that's where obviously all of the protection really kicks in. And they have said that by the middle of September, every adult in the UK will have been offered a vaccine. And we are very lucky over here that there are a few anti-vaxxers out there, but the vast majority of the population are champing at the bit to get vaccinated. So that's a real positive. And I know there have been lots of stories about the Delta variant and so on. And so I've done some digging about the effectiveness of the vaccine against this Delta variant. And as you can see, both Pfizer and AstraZeneca is hugely effective. Now, I know obviously we had a lot of cases. I think from what I've been reading, there were quite a few or quite a high percentage of the American cases are now this Delta variant. But all of the scientist reports that I read while doing the research for delivering today are really confident that the existing vaccines are incredibly effective against the variants. So I think that's hugely reassuring. There will obviously be more variants. From what I understand, it's just the nature of viruses that that variants appear, but they are tracking every single detail about the effectiveness. So I will keep you updated on that. Oh, we seem to have lost an image on that one. Apologies. There should be a picture of a map there showing showing the UK and where has tested positive. So I will try and retrieve that. But there are certain areas that we wouldn't recommend. Some cities that have tested tested very highly. So we'd probably recommend not. Now, this I wanted to share with you to try and explain why the UK has been reported as having more positive cases of COVID than so many other countries. And there's a really simple explanation for that. As you can see, we have tested way more people in this country on a very, very regular basis than anywhere else. So all of our frontline workers, the teachers, all of those essential workers across the country are tested twice and 3 times a week. And in the case of the NHS, the health workers, they're tested obviously even more frequently than that. And some of the variants that have been attributed to starting in the UK, the scientists' view is that the reason that they've started in the UK is because we're doing so much testing, we're doing so much analysis, that we're the first ones to find these new variants. Now, I'm not saying we haven't had it bad, because as you know, we have had it very bad. But I do think it's worth pointing out that the numbers are can be looked at in different ways, and the more people you test, the more cases of COVID we're going to find. It's nature of the beast, and it's the same with the recorded numbers of deaths over here. And we're very happy that the number of deaths is going down dramatically, but the death is attributed to COVID if an individual has tested positive within the previous 28 days. So that suggests to me, and I haven't got the numbers to verify this, but it suggests to me that maybe a few of those deaths actually are not COVID related, but they were tested positive. So just a bit of backup. Now, I wanted to share with you what we've been doing, a little bit about what we've been doing over here to protect people and to track and to monitor and make sure that every positive case is analysed. And we've had a COVID, an NHS COVID app that the government has asked all of us to have on our telephones, and it is basically to enable us to check in at a pub or a restaurant or a hotel or anywhere that we go, and you know, with the good old QR codes and so on, it registers that you've been at a particular place. And so if somebody then tests positive who has been in the same restaurant or whatever, then everybody has to then self-isolate for the next 2 weeks and have a test. So it's been sorry, not 2 weeks, for 10 days. So it's been a really real bone of contention with many people over here, because obviously it means that if one person tests positive, then they can no longer go to work, they can't serve in the restaurants and bars and hotels and so on. But it has meant, it's had a really positive impact, as you can see here, that they genuinely believe that we've prevented up to 50,000 cases of COVID through this app, because we are obviously monitoring people as we go. Now that we are more, obviously the level of double vaccinations is going up. As from the 16th of August, if you have had your double jab, then you won't have to self-isolate, but you are asked to do a COVID test. So it's been a really effective way of keeping track of who's mixing with whom. So I wanted to and you may well have this information, but just to share with you what your clients need to do before they can come to the UK. And just to let you know, we have produced a whole report with all this information in it, in terms of what you need to come to the UK, and then what happens once you're over here. So it's guidelines about using public transport, about being out and about in the cities, and so on. So when we send you the recording of this this evening, then we'll attach the report as well. So hopefully that will give your clients a little bit of confidence about what it's going to be like. So a proof of vaccination, proof of residency, a negative test, no great surprise, from the previous 72 hours. And the passenger locator form is really easy. It's just on the UK government website, and you just have to complete it before coming. Now, the airlines have got together to enable easier communication as well of proof of vaccine and so on. So those apps are a nice, quick and easy way of tracking as well. With children, it's there are different age limits and so on. We've just heard today that all 16 and 17-year-olds are going to be offered the jab as well. So they're getting younger and younger, which is absolutely fantastic. So as you can see here, if you're for children aged 10 and under, you don't need to test before travel, but the day 2 and day 8 tests, that's under 4. And I'll come on and talk about the test to release, but that does involve everybody. We've got a couple of questions. Hello, Barbara. Good question, Jahala, about passports being proof of residency. We will look that up for you. I was under the impression that passports would be okay, but we're just looking that up for you. So I'll come back to you on that, if that's all right. These, as I say, all of this information will be in the UK guide to travel, but just thought it might be useful. Fully vaccinated are the internationally accepted vaccination programs, and your clients have to have been vaccinated 14 days or more before travel. And you are asked to take a COVID test on day 2 after you arrive as well. Now, there are a whole number of different companies that your clients, or you can book on behalf of your clients to do a test in the UK. It's again been a bit of a discussion point over here, because there are quite a lot of these organisations where you can do the test, and the lowest price seems to be about £25. The highest price seems to be about £550. So it is a case of having a look at the different options. I'm not in a position to recommend anybody or you off anybody, but the full list of the organisations that can offer the test are in our UK travel guidelines. So so you can have all of that, and you can, just in case one of your clients does suddenly start showing signs of COVID and they have had to quarantine when they get over here, there's a 5-day test to release that they can pay for an additional test, and and then get released early, obviously, if the test is negative. But there's a lot more information and detail and so on shared in our guidelines. So that is our sort of overview. I hope that helps in terms of where we are. The UK, I think, has been under, from what I understand, stricter quarantine rules and so on. Stricter isolation rules than many. From I think I've said to you, from January through to May, we had no shops open, no bars, no restaurants, no nothing. It was just supermarkets and so on. So it seems, looking at the numbers, that we seem to be ahead of the curve sometimes in terms of the trends over here. But cases have been steadily dropping for the last 2 weeks, and with the rate of vaccinations, it feels like we are coming out the other side, which is wonderful news, and it is safe for your clients to come and visit as much as it can be with something like this. But if they've been double jabbed, then I think it's good news. So if you have some clients who are champing a bit and ready to jump on a plane, I know that certainly BA are adding new flights from the US every week, from what we can gather, and I'm sure all the other airlines are exactly the same. What we have created for you, and we will send, so obviously send these through to you, is a really detailed calendar for the next 3 months of everything that is out there to do. Now, as you know from all of our fabulous visits around the British countryside since last April, can you believe? There are a huge number of things that are not associated with events, and all of those wonderful stately homes and the horse riding and all of those fabulous experiences are all still available. But we wanted to let you know just how much there is to see when they come over. So as you can see, August, it's everything from rowing, and I cannot believe it's happening next week, which is very exciting. There's lots of racing at Ascot, and then a little bit more, a little bit higher up in the air, there's the Shuttleworth Air Show, which is amazing. Now, I'm not going to go through all of these. You'll be very pleased to hear. But just to give you an idea of what we're going to send you and all of the details and so on that are there. But there's a wonderful array of different experiences over the next month. And then moving on to September, a few things that have been postponed. So the wonderful Chelsea Flower Show, the Great Balloon Race, which is an absolute spectacle, and for those absolute car lovers amongst your clients, the Salon Privé is an absolute must, and set in the beautiful grounds of Blenheim Palace. So there you have September. And October, we've got some really rather lovely festivals, actually, and an opportunity to sample some good local gins as well. So again, as you can see, we will share all of that with you. But I just wanted to sort of focus in on some of the areas over the next 3 months that might well appeal to some of your clients. As I said, September is going to be a glorious month. I mean, Salon Privé and Goodwood Revival, the fabulous 1950s collection of cars and racing and so on, are always in September. But there are some other amazing events such as Chelsea Flower Show that have been pushed back. So if you've got a couple that likes cars and flowers, they're in for a real treat if they can get over here in September, which will be absolutely amazing. And as you can see on the bottom left there, Salon Privé, they are adding more and more elements to the 4-day event. So we will probably do a bit of a special on Salon Privé before or over the next 2 or 3 weeks, because it really is just a wonderful event. Now, there is also a huge amount of horse racing, which is just fantastic, both at Ascot, Windsor, and down in Goodwood, down in Surrey as well. And the Burghley horse trials have been pushed back. So they were originally, obviously, should have taken place in May, but are now taking place in September. So a fabulous day on a private estate, and some seriously good 3-day eventing. One of those wonderful quirks, that 3-day eventing that takes place over 4 days, but that's for them to explain at some other point. So all sorts of lovely hospitality options as well. The Windsor evening race meetings are lots of fun and easily accessible from London as well. So if you have clients staying in the city, it's no problem at all. And it seems like, and I don't know whether it's the same where you are too, but the fact that I guess less people have been visiting the gardens and the parks and so on mean that they seem to be even more colourful and fragrant than they ever have been before. So as you can see, I mean, there's Wisley, there's Chelsea, and so on, and also a new addition to the year, which is very exciting, which is the opening of the Buckingham Palace Gardens. It's almost hard to believe as you stroll through the gardens that you are right in the centre of London, and it's a really, really special opportunity to go around the gardens. The royal palaces seem to be opening up a little bit more, which is just lovely. So so yes, countryside and London, and obviously there's the glorious Hidcote and Kiffsgate and so on over the Cotswolds, all the lovely gardens, West Green House and so on down in Hampshire. So we can happily create a whole garden tour if that's what appeals to the clients. And September's a lovely time because we're just obviously coming into autumn, and the colours are just wonderfully rich and varied, which is really special. Now, we are still doing our wonderful music festivals. Henley Festival, which for those of you who saw our tea and training about Henley Festival, you may remember, is just the most glorious event. Everyone's all dressed up, it's all black tie, it's right on the riverside, and there's we've got James Blunt, Sophie Ellis-Bextor, all sorts of fabulous performers in a really intimate setting. The performers are on a floating stage on the river. So as you sit and watch them, all the lights twinkling on the boats and so on. And we thought it might not happen this year for a second year, but they've pushed it back to August, which is September, which is absolutely brilliant. So all of the same fine dining and so on. And another real treat, it's a bit of a British thing, I think, but well worth visiting, is the last night of the proms at the Royal Albert Hall, which is one of our fabulous traditions. There are still boxes available. So if any clients are coming over in September, then we would certainly recommend a visit to the Albert Hall, because it's really special. So still some lovely music to watch. at the various stately homes and in London as well, which just feels quite normal, doesn't it? Does feel really rather lovely. And I'm not going to list all of these, but Edinburgh Festival throughout August is magical. That might be a little bit soon, but there's lots of fabulous food to be tried and tested at the Windsor Autumn Festival and the Blenheim Palace Autumn Festival, which is glorious. And then, of course, we're coming into literary festival season. So Cheltenham and Hay and Cliveden and so on. And obviously, my favourite one is here in Henley, where we have just 3 glorious weeks of all sorts of amazing authors coming and talking about their books. So again, depending on the dates your clients want to come, we will include these festivals for you. Excuse me. And I was amazed to discover the Dursley Walking Festival. My grandparents used to live in Dursley, God bless them, when they were alive, and I had no idea there was such a thing as the Dursley Walking Festival. So I learned something new too, which is just brilliant. And some for those who want a little bit more art and culture, I have to say, now is the absolute best time for anybody to come over to London for any of the festivals and exhibitions and so on in London, because it is so much quieter than in normal times. And just being able to visit exhibitions and so on with far fewer people around is really glorious. And the hotels are obviously super safe. The restaurants are all super safe. So if there's ever a time to recommend to your clients that they visit London, I would suggest that that now is a good opportunity. Thank you. Thanks, Barbara. In answer to your question, Barbara's asked, in case you haven't seen, whether we have any British Golf Open options and for this year and Wimbledon for next year. The answer is yes to both of them, depending on obviously the days and so on. But we can source fabulous tickets if they just want tickets and to make their own way around the golf, no problem at all, and also some wonderful hospitality down there over there as well. So certainly can. Should we have a chat about that if there's someone you've got in mind? And I'm going to share the Wimbledon details for next year. We've just received all of the debenture prices and so on. So for clients who want to secure tickets nice and early, we always recommend doing it as early as possible, because as you know, any of you who've booked Wimbledon, the prices go up month by month as we get closer. So I will share, Maisie, if you could make a note, we will share the Wimbledon information. But Barbara, happy to have a chat offline. And coming into all of the fabulous Halloween events and so on, and our wonderful, slightly bizarre tradition on the 5th of November every year of Guy Fawkes Night. Celebrating a chap who tried to blow up our parliament is a little bit odd, but we love it and we celebrate it every year. So you're very welcome to join in our strange traditions. Lots of lovely food and drink festivals as well, everything from pumpkin competitions to fabulous food festivals. I mean, the food festival up at Ludlow is just glorious. I mean, Ludlow is the most beautiful little market town, and they certainly know how to do a good food festival. So we will we'll share that, and we've included Le Manoir and the Wormsley estate. I've got some rather exciting things to share with you about the Wormsey estate and things that we're working on at the moment. So I will certainly share those in the coming weeks as well. But it is just lovely. And the manoir, I was talking to them the other day, they're also still planning to do their wonderful Christmas evenings where you go and sit in the beautiful church in Great Milton, listen to all the beautiful Christmas music by candlelight, and then have a obviously truly delicious dinner in the hotel. So we're just waiting for the dates on those, but they are happening again this year, which is very exciting. And just to keep on the mode of the stately homes, they're really going to town on sharing all of their brilliant events. So everything from open gardens down at Badminton in the South Cotswolds. Glyndebourne is ongoing as well, and the fabulous Hampshire Fair down at one of our favourite estates in Hampshire, at the Grange. So lots of lovely, quite traditional and very English style events going on, which is really special. And I was at Garsington Opera a couple of weeks ago, which is like a small version of Glyndebourne, just about half an hour down the road in the Chilterns. And we recorded a Humphreys TV from there. So I will be sharing that with you very soon. So you can get a real essence of our wonderful country house garden operas, which are a really real growing thing over here, I'm pleased to say. And if you've got clients who want to become a new Gordon Ramsay or a new Barbara Hepworth with some pottery, or a new Capability Brown, there are all sorts of fabulous traditional courses that they can do while they're over here, from Dalesford and the Manoir to some fabulous gardening opportunities as well. So we will certainly share those with you. I was up at the Manoir a couple of weeks ago, and it felt like a long time since I've been there, and it's still just as beautiful as ever. So I hope that has been useful and of value. So as I've said, we will share this recording tomorrow. We will also share the individual calendars and the really detailed UK travelling guide with all of the government advice. So I just want to emphasise that everything I have shared with you today is from the government. Now, okay, we can all argue that maybe the government puts out some information that you might not want to read, but at the end of the day, in terms of the guidelines for your visitors and your clients coming over, this is accurate at the moment, and we will update it as we go. There is an announcement expected tomorrow. I don't think it will impact on the travel from the US to the UK, but obviously I will let you know. And we'll also send some date and time options. If you've got any clients who just want to explore what's possible, whether it's this year or next year, then please do just let us know. We can plan in a one-to-one call, and we can talk through any specifics with you. But we're getting information in all of the time. We are tracking everything that's going on. So as I say, I hope it's been really useful. We'll share all of this with you, but please do just let me know if you've got any individual questions. And Barbara, let's put a time in to have a chat about the golf and Wimbledon. We'll be happy to share the information. So if there aren't any more questions, thank you, Todd, for your lovely message. Lovely to see you too. We are going to be doing these a lot more regularly again now. Apologies, we had a slight gap, a slight pause, but I've been told that there's still a desire to learn more. So we will send you a schedule of the different subjects that we're planning to cover. So lovely to see you. Thanks so much for joining us, and look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks so much. Bye bye.